Hey everybody, I'm live. It's John Hope Bryant, founder and CEO of Operation Hope, author of The Movement for Civil Rights and the book How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, Rebuilding the Path of the Middle Class, and of course also Love Leadership. Reporting live here from the road from Macon, Georgia. I got my man Sir James behind the wheel driving, and the great Natasha Bryant is with us. She came and hung out with us for the day. If you're just signing in, put your comments down below. I'll read them as they come in. I'm going to try to respond to them. Yeah, you see, important phone calls came in, and I told them, no, I'm going to talk to you. So I apologize for that. It's John Hope Bryant. I'm back, and I'm going to finish this with you. As comments come in, and I'm going to try to respond to them in real time here and answer your questions if I can. The next 10 minutes, I'm going to be live. So we're on the road from Macon, Georgia. I'm going to talk about civil rights today, and as it relates to community building and what we did in Macon, and I'm going to tell you the three things I saw in Macon. I see Jeremy Graham just signed in. Good man, love the suit. Thank you, brother. It's actually made by an African-American entrepreneur, Ryan Taylor of Drobe Clothing makes all my suits, and you see beautiful job that he does on my clothes. I see David Juan Julio is signing in. Any advice to anyone with no credit? Yeah, go get some credit. Get some and don't use it. In other words, get the credit so that you can raise your credit score. But basically, get the credit. You don't need it, and just pay the loan back. So, or get a credit card and just pay it back. Charge something you would pay for cash anyway, and just pay it back instantly, and that'll help to boost your credit. Actually, bad credit is bad, and no credit is not good. So you do need to have an active credit score. I see Jeremy Graham signing in. Sean Critton is signing in. Johnson, Yvonne, Derek. 50 people, additional people are signing in. Jay Stacks. Okay, let me get to this real quick before another call comes in. So there's three things I found in Macon. We just opened up a new Hope Inside in Macon, Georgia, in partnership with the mayor there, who's a good man, and Dr. Bumpus, who's also a good man there. And we've opened up the Hope Inside with the city in partnership with the state and the federal government. And hopefully it's going to be the one of 10. So Macon is in middle of Georgia. It's about 80 miles south of Atlanta. It's the first city, the university here is the first city to ever, in America, ever to provide degrees, advanced degrees for women back in the 1800s as a source of some history. Also has some history in the Civil War. Okay, so let me jump on this. The three impressions I got on civil rights from Macon. Number one was this black woman went to the public housing, and basically her highest aspiration was to live in the public housing unit that her mother and her grandmother lived in. Actually, she wanted to be in the public housing unit her grandmother lived in, and she was serious about it. Like her, she was like demanding, like pounding on the desk of the housing director. I want to live in this unit that my grandmother lived in. This is a rental unit. This is a public housing rental unit. It just sort of drives me crazy. And she really thought that was her highest aspiration, and I want her to dream a bigger dream than that. I mean, I want her to dream a different dream than that. Like, it doesn't have to be my dream, but it has to be a dream. And by the way, Natasha, you're gonna be there fine in the background. At least you gotta wave at the folks and say hello. Oh. That's my wife, Natasha Bryant. So it says the connection is weak, but it seems like I still have a connection. So just bear with us. So the first thing was that Benjamin Mays said, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor in civil rights was the president of Morehouse. His name was Benjamin Mays. And Benjamin Mays said that that failure was not sin. That the highest failure was low aim. That sin is not failure. That the highest sin is low aim. And my apologies. Okay, we're back. So this lady was just had a problem of having low aspirations, right? She just didn't dream big enough for herself. The second thing I found was that there was this man they were describing who was a great guy, worked at a fast food restaurant, but he couldn't count. Like, he never learned math. So when they had to give change, he would just give change in his hands and just basically say to the person, pick your change. And he would trust that people were honest enough to pick the right change. Many people were honest and some people were not. That's what's happening with check cashers and payday loan lenders today. you're basically walking into an establishment and saying, pick my pocket. If you're using payday lenders every week, if you're using check cashers every week, you're using rent-to-own stores, title lenders on a regular basis, you're walking in there, you're giving up your hard-fought-for freedom, your hard-fought-for dollars that are just your money, and you're basically opening your wallet and saying, rob me blind in broad daylight. I want to stop that, and that's why I keep saying Hope Insides will, amongst other things, will help to raise credit scores. And as I keep saying, nothing changes your life more than raising your credit score 120 points, other than maybe God or love. And we're going to be raising credit scores 120 points inside of our Hope Inside locations, and creating entrepreneurs and small business owners and and homeowners. But basically what we're doing is helping you take your life back. Now that brings me to my third example from Macon. This young lady lived in a housing complex, the same housing complex that the lady lived in who said, I want to live in my grandmother's house. And this young lady went through an entrepreneurship training program and then went through a small business and home ownership program. And she started a business living in the housing complex. Short version, she now has 8 employees, janitorial services business, nothing fancy. She's a janitorial, I'm gonna post a photo of her because we took a picture with her today. A janitorial services business. She's making a living for herself, a good one, and has hired 8 full-time and part-time employees from Macon, Georgia, creating a job and an economy in Macon. So both people live in the housing complex. One person has low aim and says, I want to live in my grandmother's unit, which she doesn't own. The second lady lives in the housing complex and says, I may live here, but I'm not living here. My mind's not here, my body is. And she started a business, and she's going to be, she's got a bank account with money in it, and she's going to be taking her life back. So when I look at a city like Macon, I see a place where you can have fundamental systemic change because you can get your hand around a city with 150,000 people, at least I can, and put multiple locations. One of the things we're going to be doing is coming back, putting Hope Business and Box Academies there to create young entrepreneurs. Because if you have a criminal record, if you have crappy credit and a criminal record, let me be honest, IBM is not hiring you. Bank of America, some big company, is not hiring you, and it's not racism. You just don't meet the criteria. But you know what? Maybe you don't want them hiring you. When the world closes the door, God opens a window. Thank God that Bill Gates was fired from IBM. He went out and created Microsoft. I want you to think about not just getting a job, but creating a job. Particularly minority America, Black America, is going to have to focus on becoming job creators, their own self-employment projects. If you're a drug dealer, if you're a hustler, and I hope you're not a drug dealer, by the way, but if that is your background, you got natural hustling skills. Let's use that for something legal. And think about there's a Steve Jobs on every street corner in these neighborhoods that you and I know so well. And if we ignite this economic energy, you're going to create positive energy, positive vibrations. You're going to create jobs. You're going to lower the stress. You're going to increase hope. You're going to lower unemployment. You're going to lower crime. You're going to increase positive economic energy, GDP, gross domestic product. You're going you're going to convert renters into homeowners, which is going to create taxpayers. And now the city's got resources to give you good schools, good streets, street lights, and good policing. And now you are a taxpayer, so you're going to be pushing that city to do the right thing, because now you own your own life. And this is the civil rights movement in a microcosm. The Hope Inside we open here. I hope to have 5 Hope Insides there, plus Hope Business and Box Academies, creating entrepreneurs in public schools, plus some internship schools where we're getting kids who've got D's, C's, and F's to aspire to get a B-. You know, it's all the kids with D's, C's, and F's that are the natural entrepreneurs. You agree? Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and I can name a ton of them. They all dropped out of college because it wasn't speaking to them. And these are natural entrepreneurs, and the those who graduate from college end up working for the entrepreneur and making a good living. But that's sort of that nice combination. So I see these kids that we've thrown away in these neighborhoods as natural hustlers and natural entrepreneurs, and you should too. All right, let me see if I can answer some questions before I sign off. When your credit score is high, if you do not have the necessary, calls keep coming in, but I'm not letting go. I'm going to talk to you now for 2 more minutes. I got a call coming in with the CEO. I want to finish with you. I hope you're appreciating this. If you do not have the necessary income, you're pretty much in the same boat. I really think America's a conspiracy. Just if you think America's a conspiracy, just give up. Look, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right. Look, let's assume. Trying to reconnect. I really don't. This has started a whole other conversation I don't have time for right now. I got to take this call from the CEO, but that really frustrated me. That comment, "America's a conspiracy." That stuff just drives me crazy. Look, it's not a conspiracy. People are out for themselves, and you need to be out for yourself too. And then you become a good leader who's then out for yourself and the community. Look, people are just doing for themselves. The brothers who come from Nigeria or come from the islands or come from Ethiopia, they're black. They come here, and in 10 years they own the parking garage or own a Uber service. Look. Everything's not racial, and everything's not set up to make you fail. Life is tough for everybody. You got to get out here and hustle. That's the bottom line. And look, credit score is not going to make your life perfect, but a crappy credit score will make your life horrible. I may not be right, but I'm dang well not wrong. Okay, so you got to get your credit score so that you can play in the game. Half of all employers won't hire you with a crappy credit score. Know this. Look, I want you to master the game. There is a game. It's not a conspiracy, it's a game. It's called life. Let's master it. Let's stop arguing about whether life is fair. It's not fair. Okay, you heard it. Life's not fair. Get over it. Okay, let's now get on with learning and mastering the lesson. My apologies for being passionate, but I'm not sorry. All right. Yeah, Sergio, no excuses. Let's go. Thank you for the motivation. That's Jay. Great. Legal networking is the way, brother. Hope you can come to South Africa. I just came from South Africa, and I will be back. Okay, I gotta go. I hope this was helpful. I'll maybe tie in a little bit later. I got one more message I want to give you, but I gotta go back to work. Love you much. Be hopeful.